What is up, fellow nerds, and welcome back to the Dapper Snapper Gaming channel. Now, today we're going to be bringing you yet another live Wi-Fi battle here on the channel. You guys have been really enjoying these lately, and so why not bring you another one? If you missed yesterday's battle, we used this rain team right here. Obviously, they had some items, but I had to move them over. And if you haven't seen that, that will be up in the iCard above. But it was a pretty cool battle. I like this team a lot, and we may have to bring it back sometime in the future. But until then, we've got a cool Sun team here with a Heat Rock Torkoal. We have an offensive Growth and Weather Ball Venusaur, which is cool. A Scarfed regular Darmanitan. A Heavy Duty Boots Cinderace that is, it's not the Court Change set, it is the offensive set. A defensive Sandaconda with Rest and Shed Skin. And then a Life Orb Clefable with Soft Boiled. So quite a bit of cool tech on this team. Some old, some new. So I basically found some stuff that I had from previous generations and melded it with stuff I already had. As we've got a really cool team on my opponent's end, but it looks very weak to Venusaur. Yeah, Gastrodon dies to Venusaur. Whimsicott dies. Double dies if it's fluffy. What is that called? The Moth, Frostmoth dies. So basically, if we kill Passimian and Incineroar, then yeah, we're in for a good time. So Venusaur's looking really strong in this match, and so is Darmanitan, actually. So we're going to lead with Darmanitan and see if we can't deal with my opponent's team here. The Whimsicott could be kind of an issue. Just it can do a lot of different things, and it can do a lot of different things really well just with Prankster. Gastrodon doesn't seem like it's going to be that big of a deal. I just can't lose Venusaur. But yeah, I think as long as we play our mons right, we should be just fine. As my opponent does go ahead and lead with the Gastro, and we're going to lead with the Darmanitan. So I'm just going to click U-turn just for the chip here. If my opponent wants to stay in, which I'm assuming he will, this just does a little bit of damage. And by a little bit, I mean like 30%, which is absolutely insane. And we've got a couple options here. We could go into our Clefable, but Clefable doesn't really do anything back. We could go Torkoal, but I don't really want to take an Earth Power. What do I want to do here? I mean, we could go straight Venusaur here and just threaten this thing out, and then swap into Torkoal. I think that's probably our best option. We take basically whatever he wants to go for. Yeah, he does go for a Scald, and that's not going to do too awfully much. No burn, though, and I'm assuming this thing is going to swap, so we're going to go ahead and just hard switch into our Torkoal here, just so we can go ahead and get our Sun up. But yeah, as long as I have Venusaur around, this Gastro can't really do what it's supposed to do. So I'm definitely going to have to make sure that I don't let this die for no reason. But we're going to go ahead and swap and go straight into the Torkoal here. Even if he goes for Scald again, then that's fine. If he goes for Ice Beam, that's not doing much. So I think we're going to be okay. As he does go ahead and swap out into the Incineroar, which is actually totally fine by me. This thing could go for like a parting shot or something, but I'm not terribly worried about it. We could go for a body press, but I think rocks are going to be more important here. He does carry the fake out. Okay, that's fair enough. But I would have carried, now that this thing is parting shot, I would have carried that over fake out. But that's just me. I am planning on using a Incineroar sometime in the near future, as that is going to do not very much. And we're going to go ahead and get our rocks up, which is absolutely fantastic. And I'm very, very much happy about that. And now we're just going to go straight into Sandaconda. Now, the only thing about Sandaconda is it is a coil set, and Darkest Lariat will ignore the defense boosts. That is something we do have to keep in mind here. But the attack the attack raises that we get are not ignored, and we can always go for a rest if we need to get our health back. But I don't think that this thing is going to be that big of an issue. Yeah, so we're good. We're totally good. But we are going to go ahead and set up one coil, I think. Although he could just go into something else here, just to shut me down. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and just click EQ here, actually, in case he wants to swap out, and just so I can do a little bit of damage to something else coming in. This would 1v1 the Incineroar, but obviously the Incineroar doesn't have to stay in, so he's going to go into the Whimsicott, which makes sense. I'm assuming he's going to try to click a Leech Seed on us or something of that nature. But we're going to go ahead and get some damage off on this with an Earthquake, as that does a decent amount. I mean, that did like 35%, 40%. And we're just getting a little bit more healing back from our leftovers. I do not want to take a Leech Seed on that. And we're just going to go back out. Now, we could go Clefable, actually. I think this is actually our better option. Because even if he Leech Seeds us, we don't take any damage. As he goes for Encore. Okay, so yeah, this is totally fine with me. And we're gonna click Flamethrower here. You can stay in if you want, but you're not gonna like it. There's no reason for me to overpredict here. I could go for a Moonblast predicting the Pissimian, which is what he went into, but I just think it's a little early. Plus, Flamethrower is still boosted by the sun, so that's going to do a decent... Ooh, that did way more than I expected it to. This thing could carry Gunk Shot, which is kind of scary, but I'm just going to go right back into my Pissimian here. And Sandaconda should be able to take a Gunk Shot pretty well, as he does go for the Gunk Shot, so it is good to know that he does have it. And even if he gets that 30% poison, we're totally fine. Alright, so we are going to get some more healing back, all that good stuff. And again, I'm just going to click Earthquake. He can go back into his Whimsicott if he wants to, but that's just more chip on that. As Pissimian goes ahead and goes for the Drain Punch here, that probably will be enough to get him out of range of our Earthquake here. But, I don't know. It was not. Okay, so we do take out the Pissimian, which is really nice, especially if that was his Scarfer. A lot of them are Scarfed. So that's really good to get out of the way. I'm really happy to get that out of the way. Just one less thing that hopefully Venusaur will have to worry about in the end game. But yeah, I'm trying to set up a sweep with Venusaur, and that was one of the things standing in the way. The other is Incineroar, and if we can get rid of those two, I think Venusaur should put in some work. As he just goes straight into the Incineroar, which is an interesting call for sure. He's going to go ahead and intimidate us, not that I care, and this is going to be a time to go for a rest, and hopefully we can wake up in a decent time. Actually, oh, that crit kind of matters, because I don't know if we take another, I don't know if we take a Darkest Lariat here. I'm going to risk it just because this thing isn't terribly crucial to the team. So we are just going to go ahead and click rest. And if he dies, he dies. Sandaconda doesn't really do much to my opponent's team. And if he decides to swap out, then we're good. Oh, okay, so we're gonna Dynamax here. Okay. So I am glad that I kept this in, just so that we can just so that we take the damage on this rather than on something else. But we are going to have to try to stall out his Dynamax, which might end up being a problem. But he is going to go for the Max Darkness based on that Darkest Lariat, and that will definitely be enough to take us out, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. I can't control my opponent's following of the rules or not, And but we do have a Cinderace right here. We do have a Torkoal. We have, let's see, what do I want to go into here? Both Cinderace and Darmanitan are faster than this, and I'm kind of tempted to go. Let me see which one does more though. A Darmanitan. With EQ, we do 75%. And on a Cinderace, we do 140%. That is not considering Dynamax. Man, that's gonna be close. I don't know if that's gonna be enough to kill with Dynamax. I think I'm gonna have to go for a U-turn and then come back into this. I think it's a roll. I think it's like right there on the cusp of being a roll, but I don't want to risk a high jump kick not killing. So that should be range. Just we need it to be below 70%. So while we're here, we're gonna go ahead and get our sun set back up for the Venusaur after we kill this. And I believe the end is coming near as he goes for a max strike based on the fake out. So that's going to do almost no damage. He's going to lower our speed, but I don't care about that on this Mon. And I'm going to click body press until he kills me. This will just basically guarantee that that I'm in range. Yeah, so this is going to do a decent chunk. As he's going to go ahead and raise his attack, but I'm really not that worried about it. As body press does, it does about 25%-ish, maybe a little less. And we are able to successfully stall out the Dynamax here, which is really cool. So we do know that he has a fighting move, which is good to know. But I don't think that stops us from going. What stops me from going into Clefable? Well, let's see. I think Torkoal has done his job as long as we preserve Venusaur, but I also want to make sure that we have the Sun to boost its speed. Otherwise, we could lose to a Frostmoth. So I don't want to do that. So I'm going to go Clefable, and that way we don't lose Torkoal right here. And if we lose Clefable, it's not as bad. He does go for Darkest Lariat. +1 Darkest Lariat will probably do what, like half-ish? Almost. Not quite. Yeah, so we just click Moonblast here. And Moonblast should be more than enough here, I would think. Alright, so he does go for the Flare Blitz, so he is going to take some recoil here. And that is going to take out our Clefable, which is unfortunate, so sad. Couldn't even click Soft Boiled. But Incineroar is very much weakened now. And we're just going to go into Darmanitan here. Yeah, so this again is the last thing standing in the way of our Venusaur. And honestly, even at the range that it is right now, if we were able to... if he even swapped it out and we set up with Venusaur later, it wouldn't have stood a chance. But now that we've killed that, we should be able to get Venusaur in relatively free. The only thing I'm worried about is if we try to set up a growth and then he goes right into the Whimsicott and encores us into growth, that could be a problem. But besides that, we should be okay, I would think, with the combination of Weather Ball and Giga Drain. Okay, so he does go Gastrodon, which makes sense, but we're just gonna go straight Venusaur. No messing around on this one. We're just gonna go right for it here. Just because Darmanitan does have usage still, being Scarfed, It's still got a lot of use left. Recover, that is totally fine with me. Totally fine with me. As we can go ahead and set up a growth on this. If it goes Whimsicott, we're kind of big sad. We could go Weather Ball or Sludge Bomb predicting the Whimsicott. But there's not really anything this thing can do to us. So I'm going to go ahead and click growth. And hopefully he doesn't go Whimsicott. If he goes anything else, then we're good. And he does go Whimsicott. Okay, so this battle is not over yet. I definitely predicted it and then just didn't pull the trigger, which is my bad. I should have just made the read, but it's just gonna make things take a little bit longer than they would. But we're just gonna go Cinderace. He's gonna go for Encore. He kind of has to, otherwise he just dies. So that's totally safe for us to come in on this. And we're just gonna click Pyro Ball and not really care. Yeah, so you can sack this if you'd like, or you can let Gastrodon take like a quarter or something. I mean, it'll take a good chunk. As he does go back into Gastrodon, I could have clicked U-turn, but I think getting some damage off on this is really nice, especially since he's probably just going to click Recover. There we go. So that's good damage. So he's probably going to click Recover here. We're going to go... we're going to wait on the sun just a second. We're going to wait just a second on the sun here. And go ahead and go straight Venusaur on the Recover. And then we're going to click Sludge Bomb because he's probably just going to go right back into the Whimsicott. And I just need that thing gone. I'm also getting kind of worried about where the timer is. And I really don't want this to get timed out. I'm also at less than a minute on my move time, which is bad. As he stays in this time. Interesting. And he goes straight for the Ice Beam. So the one time that I make the prediction is the time that he doesn't do what I thought he would do. Okay, he did not switch into Whimsicott this turn, which is great, as we do go ahead and get all of our health back. All right, that is absolutely fantastic. And so what do you go into here? We do have to move very quickly or we are going to run out of move time, which is unfortunate, but that's part of this new timer system that everybody definitely loves so much. As he goes Dubwool here, okay, I just swap out into Torkoal. And this thing can set up a Cotton Guard if it wants to, but I'm hoping this will be the final time we have to set up Sun. As he does go ahead and go for the Cotton Guard, that's fine by me. And he can go ahead and kill this with a Body Press if he wants to. But you are definitely weak to you're weak to fire because of your Fluffy. As he goes for Substitute, interesting. I don't know what he thinks that I was gonna do, but we're just gonna go ahead and bust that Substitute. We're not gonna let that happen. So you're just taking free damage here, and you're just gonna have to kill my Torkoal. As he does go for the Double Edge, which is an odd choice, but now this double's gonna take a huge amount of damage. This probably will kill, honestly. Yeah, just since Fluffy does make you weak to fire, plus it's in the sun, yeah, it does a ton of damage. So, very good job on our Torkoal's end. And that's our 3-minute warning. So I think we'll be able to finish this out as long as my opponent moves in a decent fashion here. So we're just gonna click Lava Plume again. I'm just gonna basically force him to have to go for an offensive move. So he does go for the Energy Ball. That's totally fine. And we just go into our Venusaur here. That way he can't seed us. He can't do any of that fancy stuff. And we just click Weather Ball or... yeah, I think we just click Weather Ball. We don't have to click Sludge Bomb, just in case he wants to bring in something else. Weather Ball will also kill. He goes for Taunt. That's fine. I don't need to Growth anymore. Weather Ball is going to be more than enough to take out this Whimsicott, and it's going to do a huge amount of damage to the Frostmoth. So basically, he can bring in Frostmoth here. Frostmoth will take a huge amount of damage from Weather Ball. I don't know if it'll kill through Ice Scales. I'm thinking probably not, just because Ice Scales does give you some... Actually, never mind. He's not Boots. I was expecting him to be heavy-duty Boots. He was not. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure we just go ahead and kill with Venusaur. And... boom. Yep, we're going to kill right through Ice Scales. I think if he had been Boots, I think he would have survived. But either way, he was still going to be slower than us either way. Even if Sun wasn't up, just because this thing is so slow, he would have had to get several Quiver Dances up. But that is going to be our match for today. Venusaur put in the work, man. I really think Venusaur is really good now. Now that he gets Weather Ball and now that he just I think he's really good now. I think he's way better than he used to be. Not that he was bad, but just, you know, Hidden Power Fire didn't always cut it, and Weather Ball does. So you can I think that it's another option you could do is run this as a defensive option on a rain team, and still run Weather Ball, and then that baits in like fire types would want to come in on that, and then you just fire off a Weather Ball. I mean, I think that's an option too. So you never know. We may explore that a little later on the channel. You guys just let me know what you want to see. Anyway, that is going to be all for today. I will see you guys tomorrow for another exciting video. Until then, have a great day, and I will see you later. Bye-bye.